Dinkum has been a great game so far, with loads of surprises, twists, turns, and for me, very slow progress. It had not really set in that I'd been in the game for nearly 100 days. I started looking around and realized I haven't really accomplished anything. So I did some research. I researched and I thought on it, and then I researched some more. I've come to the conclusion that I had no idea how to play a game like this effectively, but now I have stolen some ideas for the next 100 days. Starting off, we create our character, and I made him look just like me, but with slightly different hair and shape, but it looked like me. We start off in South City, where everything had gone, well, south. It was cold and miserable. Most of the people here seemed to be content with their life, but I'm not. I want to find a way out of here, and I think I have. We find a help wanted poster looking for a young go-getter. That's me. The voyage and accommodation would be provided, so that's great. But I have to meet Fletch at the airship terminal. Finally, the day had come to meet up with Fletch and leave for Pixel Paper Island. As we approach, I can't help but notice how warm, sunny, and empty of people this place looked. As I prepare to leave the airship, I can't help but feel a little anxious. But I know I will finally be on a great adventure I've been waiting for. Fletch tells us just before we leave the airship that I was the only person to reply for the wanted poster. At that point, I seriously was second-guessing my decision. Fletch then had a few requests for us. I needed to set up a base tent. I looked around a while and found a great place with some available land around it and with water access nearby. After setting up the base tent, I received my accommodations in the form of a tent. So I did what I always do, and I went off a little ways and I found a place to set up my new home. I go and tell Fletch that I found a cozy place for my tent. She then informs me of a trader called John is looking to travel from South City. I received a visitor site to place down for visitors such as John, so I picked a place that helped me shape the town layout. Fletch then gave me some tips that we should work on for Pixel Paper Island. She wants me to find some food, and then she'll teach me how to make a campfire. I finished all the tasks, took Fletch some food, and kept some for myself, and received a sleeping bag. And this is just the first day. I can now begin my adventure. I set out collecting bugs and critters of all types. Then I started picking up everything I could. Logs, fruit, bugs, and anything else. It was getting late in the day, so I decided it was time to go to sleep at our brand new tent in our sleeping bag. Day 2 started off as a bright and sunny day. We check our adventure book and see all that we accomplished on day 1. Then I noticed John was set up at the visitor site. So I talked to John and sell the things I had picked up and collected on the first day and make some dink. Dink is money. After that, I set off again collecting everything in sight. At the end of the day, I talked to Fletch and she informed me that John sells all kinds of tools, but we need a license for everything, so we need lots of permit points. So I picked up our first logging and mining license. On day 3, I noticed John was still around and I wanted to make sure we had a good working friendship, so I found John some food. He likes me better now. Fletch also had a task for us. She wanted me to build a fireplace, collect some stone, and a few pieces of tin. Then she gave us a crude furnace. But she also needed a tin bar, so we gave that to her as well. We also learned to craft a wood crate for storage. It was a good day. On day 4 through 6, I went around gathering and selling things, found a beehive that I didn't know what to do with, so I just left it. Maybe we'll figure that out later. On day 7, I realized I could complete tasks and earn permit points. I could also acquire more license with these permit points. So I sold some items to John and offered to help him out. He likes us more now. I bought a fishing pole, and I took the rest of the day off and went fishing. On day 8, I did more collecting and fishing, and that was about it. I relaxed, and I had a good day. On day 9, I applied for John's shop deed, but we put ourselves in debt. Although, I did pay it off right away. I started then thinking about the town layout and where to place the shop. On day 10 and 11, I started clearing the way for my town square. I cleared the trees and leveled the ground. It's looking really good so far. On days 12 and 13, I placed the blueprint for the shop and I placed the required items in the box. It seems like it'll take a day or two to be built. I wanted to start making roads, so that's what I did. I continued making them on day 13, but it looks like the shop is coming along nicely. Time to gather some more things. Day 14, the shop was completed. The visitor site was empty, and John had moved into his new place. What a great day. Day 15, the island was visited by Theodore. He collects all kinds of different wildlife and bugs. I paid off the town debt so I could build the bulletin board. It only put us back about 10,000 dink, so I paid that right off. And immediately applied for the museum deed because Theo wants to move in. Found a great place to have the museum built right next to John's shop. On day 16, I sold some things to John and bought a stone grinder for the cement. I needed it to build the museum. On day 17, I noticed that they had started work on the museum. Something strange fell from the sky, and somebody wanted me to go check it out. So I went to investigate. I found some gadgets and materials that could be useful. Also, I caught a fish. On day 18, Theodore is officially our newest resident. Teddy's museum looks amazing. We can donate all the creepy crawlies to him. On day 19, there was a new visitor, Clover. She sells clothing. What better way to show off your own style than to have a clothing store in town? Maybe one day she'll move in. I went on a quest for Clover and she repaid me with a picket fence blueprint. How nice. On day 20, I checked the bulletin board for more things to do. We went adventuring, caught some fish, and collected bugs. Day 21 started off with donating a few more things to Theo. Franklin was set up at the visitor's place, so I went to visit. He buys shiny disc and he pays a lot for them. He's also an inventor. So I took him some shiny disc. He pays well. Day 22 and 23 were like any other day. I went out collecting, fishing, donating, and selling things. Day 24 was a special day though. We got a boat. We got a flippin' boat. This thing will surely speed things up while traveling. It was nice to get around without having to swim across rivers. On day 25, a guy named Irwin was visiting. Irwin sells animals, of course. You know the reference. I mean, it's Steve Irwin after all. Anyway, I bought a baby chook. I had to build a house for it and fence it in so it didn't get eaten by a croco. On day 26, I felt the need to make sure I have enough animal feed, so I made a grain mill. On day 27, I tried again to make friends with Irwin, but he's a tough one. We'll be friends one day. Day 28 was another day of collecting things and doing some cleanup. Also found a huge chunk of amber, but I didn't know what to do with it. On day 29, Rain is set up in the new visitor spot, and she sells seeds for plants and crops. Naturally, we need a farming license, so I got it, and then I bought some pumpkins. It only seems right as autumn had come, and everyone loves pumpkin spice everything, right? On day 30, I accepted a challenge to rid the island of an alpha jackaroo. But I slept instead of tackling that challenge today. On day 31, I planted some apples and coconut trees, watered all of my crops, and then I set out to take out this king jackaroo. I quickly decided this wasn't for me. I was not skilled enough for this, so I went home. Day 32 confused me with animal traps and beehives. I still had no idea how to work these things. On day 33, Rain was back in town, so I tried once again to get her to move in. Not yet, it seems. Day 34 started out just as expected, feeding the chook, watering the crops. After that, I got to work on the town square. Complete with a small farm for everyone to work on, my first attempt at something more than building in the middle of nowhere. On day 35, Franklin was back. I sold him more shiny disc, noticed he could build me a quarry. So I got to gathering all that was needed. He said it would be delivered tomorrow. On day 36, I put the quarry in a place that was close by but far enough away that I wouldn't need to move it for a while. Now we wait. It's day 37 and Clover is back. She wanted a few gum logs, so I delivered. Hopefully she moves in soon, but she did give me an ottoman. That's pretty nice. I sold some things to John and restocked on tools. I finished planting the crops in town. Being happy with my work, I went to talk to Fletch about upgrading my house. It cost 95,000 dink, but it was so worth it. Theodore wanted a picture of himself, but he is really hard to catch outside of the museum. But I did it. Looking good, Theo. On day 38, my house is built and it looks great. There's still work to be done though. While it is raining, we still have to decorate a bit around the town square. Planting some coconut trees and planting some flowers made the town square look even better. I spent 25,000 dink moving the visitor site. I'll probably have to do that again at some point. Finally, I wanted to check out these towers. So I did, and I fixed one of them. But what does it do? Day 39, I felt adventurous, so I went in search of a croco to capture and send it off. This probably started a few days of randomly trapping things. Because on day 40, I spent more time trapping things. On day 41, a fella named Melvin was visiting. He makes furniture. That would be a good addition to town at some point. I had finally bought me a grill from John. That thing cooks food just right and very quick. On day 42, I'd acquired myself a furnace. Smelting iron ore is one way to make progress. While I waited for the iron bar, I went fishing. Well-needed time off. On day 43, Rain is back in town, but hasn't moved in yet. So I bought some corn. You never know when she'll be back around. I planted a few more apple trees and upgraded my mining license. Now I can get in the mine. On day 44, I went to purchase the mine deed, but it put us 250,000 dink in debt. Worth every dink. I found a place that looked good just outside of town. On day 45, while I was waiting for the mine to be built, I went to John's and price checked a few items just to see what they were worth. John doesn't like being told no. On day 46, the mine is done, but before we go in, I needed to sell a chunk of amber to John. I took those dink and paid off some of the town debt, grabbed my mining pass, and headed off to the mine. I hope this goes well. This is my first time in the mine. I didn't know what to expect. I was attacked by bats, some fireball shooting thing, and a glowing croco. I did find a gate, but I didn't have my keys. On my way out, I found a ruby. I bet it's worth a few dink. On day 47 was like any other day. I went around and collected things. Nothing major really happened. On day 48, I trapped some more animals and did some catch up around the farm. Day 49, I went to drop off a jackaroo at John's. I sold a few items, and we got this nifty pink cat. On day 50, I headed into town like always to check in with everyone. It was a Sunday, and John's off work. I asked if he wanted to hang out. He said yes. So off John and I went to mine rocks, cut trees, and clear some dirt. What a friend John is. On day 51, I started working on a place to put all the extra bugs and fish I was collecting. I realized I didn't like it, so I'll probably change it later. Day 52 was just an average day. I did all the basic stuff around town and around the house. On day 53, I spent all day preparing to go to the mine. On day 54, we headed to the mine and I took my keys this time, and I found some good things in the chest behind the locked gate. Some glowing crocos posed for pictures and collected some ores. It was a good day today. On day 55 and 56, I worked on laying out some nice paths in town to make getting around a little easier. On day 57, 58, and 59, I decided since we had started building roads, it was time for some bridges. For the town as well as with the town. After spending some time reshaping the ground, we have placed our bridges. Also in these 3 days, Franklin and Rain had visited. Hopefully one of them will want to move in soon. On day 60, I finished the bottom of the bridges. On day 61, I noticed Franklin was back already. It's clear he likes the town. I'm happy that we're good enough friends for him to want to move here. Franklin is moving in. I just found a great place for Franklin's shop in the town square, just to the left of Fletch. On day 62, I noticed work on Franklin's had started. On day 63, Franklin's place is done, a great addition to the town. It was day 64 when I realized that a windmill can help speed up production, so I put one in place and planned for moving the furnace, the chook, and the other animals over next to it. On day 65, I decided to sell a load of fish to John. I made some decent dink, but I'm starting to think I'm missing something. On another note, Sally's in town. I'm long overdue for a haircut, so we got a new do. I haven't talked to Fletch in a while, so I dropped by. She informed me that there are new house deeds available. These would be cool to put down. On day 66, I did some of the basics and some grinding about town, and then moved on to day 67. On day 67, I went to buy some more seeds from Rain, hoping she would be willing to move to town. Then we went off to start building an actual farm area. A lot of fence work was required, but in the end, I'm pleased with what we have. On day 68 and 69, just the average work days. I probably should be doing more. It was day 70. I checked the bulletin board and saw a request to take care of an alpha jackaroo. I knew it was time. It had to be done. This thing is angry. It was a tough battle, but I prevailed in the end. With the biggest win of our time here, I head back and pick up this lizard thing we trapped on the way over. I stopped in at Fletch's place to pay off a little bit of the dink we owed. Also took a look at the new deeds and see that Rain wants to build a plant shop. What a day! I'm looking forward to having Rain in town. On day 71, I went off to find some weird thing that fell out of the sky again. This is starting to become a regular occurrence. On my way back, I see some angry looking creature that spits fire. I decided to trap it, but there were two, so I had to take one out first. Trap successful. On day 72, I worked around the town and ventured off to fix the next tower. I finally fixed it late in the day. Day 73, Melvin's in town again. I bought a chair and Melvin said he would send it over tomorrow. While I waited, I went to fix another tower. I still don't know what these things do. When I got back to town, I talked to Fletch and she said we should upgrade to an official town hall. So I said yes, and I would get all the materials needed in the box tomorrow. On day 74, I was walking in the desert and saw a porcupine looking thing, so I caught it and turned it in. I then started getting things together for the town hall upgrade. With everything placed in the box, all we could do was wait. On day 75, the town hall was complete and Fletch looks comfortable sitting behind that desk. Also paid off a lot of the town debt. On days 76, 77, and 78, I took some time off and went fishing. And I started thinking on what are the best ways to sell fish. On day 79, I made my way over to John's to compare cooked and non-cooked fish, both freshwater and saltwater. Some fish are worth more cooked. It's a good thing I checked. I also set myself on fire a little bit. On day 80, I received a house customization kit. There are a lot of options for your house, and you can make it look really good. I spent a great deal of time trying to get my chook to move over to the new area. On day 81, Ayana had finally moved to the new place. She's now in the new farm area. I went to Franklin's to commission a repair table to get ready for advanced tools. Irwin was in town, so I bought myself a new chook. Her name is Kennedy. She's a good chook. Also, on a random note, did you know you could catch sharks? Day 82 is just an average day. I prep for the trip to the mine again. On day 83, I was looking for more iron, and I heard that something strange happens in the mine after midnight. But I forgot my keys again. That's okay, because I found some lights and walkways, meaning somebody's already been down here. I trapped a glowing croco, took it over to the mine shaft, but I went back in and I got lost. And at midnight, these green bubbles started floating up from the ground. It turns out they hurt you. And I was still lost. I had to make a run for the mine shaft. I finally found my way back out, and I took the glowing croco back to the surface. That was a close one. On day 84, I was cleaning out my inventory, and I realized I now had a hand glider. I have plans for this later. Fletch had said she wanted a photo I had taken, so I gave it to her. She was really happy about it. Day 85 is the official first day of spring. It was also raining, but work still had to be done. I fed the chooks, picked some apples, and talked to the townsfolk. On day 86, I wanted to make a second small crop area in town. I already had a spot picked, so I placed a new scarecrow. I planted some wheat that I had, placed some nice gumwood paths around it, and went to buy more seeds. After putting up some fencing around it, I tilled up the new ground to make a spot for the taters. On day 87 and 88, I decided to check the board because it's been a while. There's another alpha jackaroo on the loose. I can handle this. No problem. We got this. So we start to fight. I've got this. No problem. Oh, he won. Well, I'll have to try that again. We head back over to the Alpha Jackaroo. This time I vanquished the angry Jackaroo and collected my reward. I then bought more seeds to fill in the new crop area and was sporting a new hat. I called it a day after that. On days 89, 90, 91, and 92, I spent time gathering and moving dirt in anticipation for a major overhaul. It had finally happened. I realized I needed a change. On day 93, I laid groundwork, literally, for my new keg and windmill areas. I placed the kegs down just in front of where my wattle and bottle brush plants would be. Production would be underway at last. Then I moved the windmill and all the machines and the grill. Being within 12 tiles of the windmill would speed up things for sure. On day 94, I went into town to sell things and remembered that Erwin had said he was ready to move to Pixel Paper Island. Finally. So I went to talk to Fletch about the deeds and picked what I think is a great spot for Erwin. I gathered the materials and placed them in the box. Now I'll wait. When day 95 rolled around, I headed into town and noticed that Erwin's building had been started. Also, Sally was in town and she needed 3 mangrove sticks. So I did what anyone would do. I went over to John's to price check our bottles of brew, and then I went to talk to Fletch, and she said it was time for a bank. There's a great place right next to the museum, so that's where we put it. And then finally, I took Sally her mangrove sticks and called it a day. On day 96, I had a town planner notification in the mail. With Erwin officially part of the town and me already having a place, I bought myself a wombat. It was 15,000 dinks well spent. Her name is Joe, but I hope Joe eats out of the animal feeders. On day 97, I ran right over to the bank, having seen that it was finished, and made my first deposit. It wasn't much, but I'll work my way up. I had also decided it was time for a chainsaw, so I talked to Franklin and gave me a list of parts. I also needed 100,000 dink now, so I went to gather everything I could to sell. It was getting late in the day, so I rushed over to John and picked up the last piece I needed, and finally I had everything. At almost 4 p.m., I sprinted over to Franklin's workshop and requested the commission. Sadly, he informed me I didn't have the correct license. Dang it all! So I quickly ran over to Fletch and hurriedly explained my situation. She sold me the level 3 logging permit, only for me to get back to Franklin's at 4:05 p.m. And I met Franklin outside of his door. I was too late. And it's Friday, so I have to wait until Monday. What a mad rush for a failed last-minute plan. On day 98, I made up some fruit salads and grilled some prime meat, and I went to price check them at John's. They sold pretty well. I then watered my plants and went the rest of the day regretting how close I was to getting a powered tree chopping machine. I went to bed knowing that I let myself down. On day 99, I realized it was Sunday. So much for getting the chainsaw. I went to town and talked to everyone. I did some quests they had for us. It was a pretty good day. On day 100, finally, I went over to John's to sell some more things. Then it was finally time. I ran over to Franklin's with every intention of getting the chainsaw. Franklin said we had a deal and that he would do the commission. Then he said it would be ready tomorrow. So I went on about my day as usual. What a great 100 days this has been. I think I could have done a lot better. Having started so far behind, the next 100 days is going to be awesome. If you've enjoyed this series, I would appreciate you hitting the like button, subscribing, and coming back and watching the Let's Play, the individual episodes, and hanging out with us for more. For my first 100 days, I think I could have done way more. But this has been an enjoyable game. With all that I've learned about the game and still more yet to learn, I could probably do a much better job on a second playthrough. But, with all that said, my little village is growing, my experience is growing, and my love for the other villagers is growing. I think in time we'll have a place for all those in South City. Ending the 100 days of Dinkum with the thought of getting a power tool is a pretty good accomplishment for someone who really didn't focus on advancements. Overall, I've enjoyed myself and will continue this Let's Play for a while. With that, I hope you tune in for my individual episodes. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. But wait. On day 101, The mailbox was dinging. The chainsaw was here. So we took out our chainsaw, we found a grove of trees, and we cut them all down in seconds. This is a game changer for sure. I can't wait to see where we are at day 200.